Burrow. He's having an unbelievable year, but is his season over if they lose to the Chargers this weekend?
Yeah, and it's the biggest game for Joe Burrow and the Bengals since the playoffs 2 years ago. You're going against the number one defense in the NFL, the Los Angeles Chargers. Average game for a quarterback against them is about 195 yards, a touchdown, a pick, 3 sacks. Good luck, okay? The reality is this: win and stay alive, lose, and you've wasted an MVP season from your quarterback and really a triple crown receiving season from Jamar Chase.
Here's the one thing I will say that gives me some hope if I'm Cincinnati. Their problem has been their defense is so incredibly bad. The Chargers don't want to score 30 points. Well, maybe they want to, but they don't do it. So the biggest problem that the Bengals have had is getting outscored, right? They got into that shootout with Baltimore, and they wind up losing. I don't see the Chargers scoring 30 even against that bad defense.
That's not the way they played the game. We've looked at Justin Herbert in the past, and he's throwing the ball all around the field. That offense is a lot more efficient, a lot of shifts, a lot of motions. That's the Greg Roman effect. We saw him in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. It is not that offense, but it's designed for Justin Herbert to make a key play when he has to, and he has done that this year. We've even seen him make plays with his legs.
I would also say this, though. This Chargers defense is a lot better than people give them credit for. They're top 10 in just about every category, and they're number one in points allowed.
They don't give up.
They give up 13
Third down
points a
defense
game.
is unbelievable. So, and they don't turn the football over offensively. They're first when it comes to turnover differential.
Khalil Mack.
This team is a deal.
Khalil Mack looks like Khalil Mack.
Now, this is going to be a hell of a challenge. This is going to be a hell of a. They haven't played some of the best offenses. So, to your point, getting a red-hot Joe Burrow is going to be a challenge.
They haven't given up 21 points in a game yet this year.
Right.
And now the Bengals go in there with their season on the line on a Sunday night game that's been flexed. Gives you a home game on Sunday.
Talk about it.
Very, very nice.
Appreciate
and so the pressure's on the Bengals to come through against a defense that the new defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, has elevated in Los Angeles. And look, when the Chargers went out and hired Jim Harbaugh and Jesse Minter, they needed to remake that franchise. They lacked toughness. They lacked pressure skills. Like, this team is doing all the things that it hasn't done in years past.
Mark it down. Harbaugh will have that team in the Super Bowl in his first 3 seasons. This is year 1. Continuing the QB quick reads. Colts announcing yesterday they're bringing back Anthony Richardson. Dan, what do you think of that decision?
Heavenly Father, is there a plan? What is the plan? Because the move to Joe Flacco was, we're a playoff contender. Are we not anymore? Let me say this about Indianapolis, because I got a lot of love for the people that are there. This is the most important 7 weeks over the last decade. Because the next 7 weeks are going to determine a lot of what that building looks like moving forward come January, February. It's either going to be, yes, this was great, or, oh my gosh, this was an utter disaster. There is pressure all around in Indy.
J-Mac, your TV broadcast crew, I was talking to your guy Tiki Barber the other day. You guys have done a lot of Colts games, so you know them. What is your sense of how and why they've handled this situation with Richardson the way they have?
Listen, I think they went into this year with the thought of put Anthony Richardson there, let him grow and develop. We'll go through the adversity. I think it got to a point where they needed to see more. You saw when he came back, he said he needed to sacrifice more and he needs to be more consistent. And I think for them, they needed to see more off the field of him getting ready for a game week in and week out. I honestly think they wanted this to last longer with Joe Flacco in the lineup and give Richardson that time to learn from him. But Flacco hasn't played well. You look at their last 2 games, the amount of turnovers, you can't win a football game that way. And you can't convince a defense that's playing well in Indy, that's creating takeaways, that we're going to continue to roll the same thing out there and we have no chance to win. So I think this gives Richardson his chance to prove I've learned something.
And let's be honest, Joe Flacco was playing behind an offensive line that was beaten up. They weren't playing with their regular guys.
3 rookies.
Right. And so that was really tough for him to overcome that. And they needed Anthony Richardson to be, what I'm hearing from you, is a little bit more professional.
Yes. Yep.
To step back, to see what's going on around and be more aware of being a pro. And I think that they're hoping now, with a couple of weeks off, that he's more professional in his approach on and off the field.
Absolutely.
It's another situation, another young quarterback situation that, in my opinion, has been completely mishandled, which brings us to Chicago. Will the Jordan Love and the Packers, are they going to blow out Caleb Williams and the struggling Bears? And if so, then what?
Well, they won't if Jordan Love continues to make plays like this. I love Jordan Love, but in 7 starts this year, he's got 10 picks and 4 fumbles. Do the math. That's 2 times a game. It's like, oh my gosh, I regret that decision. And he's got to get rid of these 2 plays a game where it's, I think I can do the thing that nobody else on the planet can do, this YOLO style of football, there's no consequence to my decisions. If he gets to that, yeah, then they're going to blow out Chicago, and they're a legit contender to Detroit.
Fudge it moment.
Fudge it moments, yes.
Fudge it
Something we all say all the time.
Fudge it.
That said, it's the other side of this thing that people are paying close attention to. Our buddy Louis Riddick, who sits there with me at the draft and had so much to say about Caleb Williams before he was even drafted. These were his thoughts yesterday on how the Bears organization has handled it so far.
It sounds like it's a total overall fail. Caleb's not doing the things that he needs to do in terms of getting the ball out quickly, efficiently, accurately when it's there to be had. And then there's times where, honestly, look, I don't want to say he's set up to fail, but he's set up to fail because things aren't timing out right. In the end, one guy takes the fall for this, and that's Shane Waldron. But quite honestly, in the end, if this doesn't improve at the end, everybody needs to take the fall because it's a total organizational fail. And I'll tell you this, the last person that gets to be gotten rid of will be Caleb Williams. So everyone else around there, and you know who you are, you're on the clock.
Even be a little late for most of the people as far as the clock is good. That clock ticks for Matt Eberflus. I think we all understand that. The bell tolls for him. But this is just another example, Dan. I mean, in life, when the problems that were easy to see coming are the ones that trip you up, that's your problem, right? We all face adversity we didn't see coming. Like, oh, I had no idea that might happen. That's called life.